my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil, channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness, I could feel changes. Turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start over? I keep waiting. Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast. Welcome in here tonight, anybody that can join. So we're about 10 minutes late here with some back-end tech stuff, so I had to kind of restart up the system and everything like that. But welcome back to episode 203 of the podcast. We're talking taxes and financial stuff tonight. So we're going to dive in. This is going to be a relatively quick episode because I'm the only one that's realistically on the mic here tonight. I got a TBD, to be determined guest to potentially pop in here, but I'm really not planning on it. And it's not the guest that was actually in the promotion, Bryce Simmons. So Bryce is not going to be able to make it here tonight, but it's all good. He's a licensed tax preparer, and we hopped on a call earlier for about 30 or 45 minutes. So he's got some solid insight that he was able to provide me with here tonight that I can give to you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about different types of things. So some very light filing tips. We'll talk tax brackets. So we'll walk through the 2024 tax brackets federally. And we'll also talk a little bit about something that's been interesting, inheritance tax. So that's something that's not talked about enough, and kind of insurance policies. We'll also talk a little bit about disability insurance. So these are some of the things that a lot of people do not speak about. You just don't, there's not a lot of information on it. When it comes to disability insurance, life insurance, different things of that nature. So I want to cover some of it here tonight. Like I said, I want to keep this one brief, but I want to have a longer extended episode when I can have actual licensed people come on here, because although I do work in the financial field, I am not a licensed tax preparer. So I am not actually licensed in that area, but it is tax season right now. This is a good time to, I think, speak about some of these things. Because let's be realistic, we don't like taxes. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they enjoy taxes. So realistically, most people are, we hate taxes. Let's just be realistic here. But having knowledge is very critical when it comes to this, because about that, let me put my phone on D&D here so I'm not getting a bunch of put that on there. Put that on D&D. Sorry, guys. I don't want a bunch of texts or calls coming through when I'm in the space with you all. So, yeah. What I was saying, though, is knowledge is critical when it comes to this area. It kind of helps you understand how to navigate taxes. Because although taxes are annoying, right, we have to pay them. But there's loopholes and different things. I will make the disclaimer, and talking to Bryce, kind of both agree with this. Taxes are very advantageous to the business owner, the typical business owner. An investor. Taxes are very advantageous because there are a lot of loopholes when it comes to business owners, when it comes to investors of that sort. I'm going to be honest, it's not super advantageous to the W-2 employee. So someone like me who works a W-2 job, they're not super advantageous to W-2 employees. There's a lot of things that kind of go along the lines of depreciation, right? If you have a vehicle over a certain amount of tons, you can depreciate it as a business asset. There's a lot of things you can realistically do with this. I'm not going to really realistically be able to cover all that tonight. But like I said, when I'm able to get a licensed professional or two on here for an episode in the future, I'll definitely have an extended episode on that. The thing about it is I did not want to put this episode off any longer because it's been consistently rescheduled multiple times. So it's no harm, no foul. Wanted to keep this going on and at least give you guys some general knowledge. But the good thing is I talked to my buddy. He's licensed. So we have some solid information. Whoa. Sorry, kicked me out for a second there. It's weird. I was saying if you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, what are you realistically doing? Hit that subscribe button. And hit that notification bell to turn notifications on, especially if you like content that is directly focused on personal development and growth or sports. We're Philadelphia-based podcast, 4 for 4. We cover a lot of sports. We also cover UFC, boxing, all different types of things like that. So if you like personal development and you like growth, hit that subscribe button. And like I said, tap that little notification bell to turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on our content because we do post weekly, except on the rare occasions where we take for a marketing meeting or hiatus, anything like that. But most weeks, we're going live on Thursdays. So make sure you stay up to date on that. If you're watching on Facebook, I just want to thank you because you're probably already part of the group or else you wouldn't be catching the stream right now. So if you're watching on Facebook, thank you. I appreciate the support. But still, hit that like button. And if you're already watching the video and you see something you like, comment because it helps us out. It helps the algorithm. It gets our content out to other people. So other people who are looking to grow professionally, personally, they can see this content, or if they enjoy sports as well, they can kind of catch this sports content. So Facebook, thank you. YouTube, thank you. Comment, YouTube, Facebook, anything you want to comment on tonight. What I can do is if it's on YouTube, I can put it up on the screen here so we can see your comment live. Facebook, a whole matter privacy policy that I've talked about before. We used to be able to put Facebook comments up on the screen, no matter what platform we use now because of a privacy, content, third party, and all this types of stuff. Facebook does not allow us to put the comments on the screen, but I do have Facebook on my other screen here to kind of navigate the comments. So as you comment in, I'll address your comments here. And yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Guys, let's get into it. Like I said, I'm probably going to be the only one on here tonight unless my, potential tentative guest in the background here does come on. But if they don't, it's all right. We're going to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Before I do dive in, I do want to give a thank you and a shout out to my brother, Rich Mitchell, for coming on last week for episode 202. We talked about men's leadership, strength and power through God, kind of leaning on God and leaning on your faith to stay centered as men, leading through the family, leading through mission and purpose, and ultimate overall well-being. We had a solid episode last week, guys. If you have not seen it, go on YouTube, scroll back. You'll see our last episode. If you're on Facebook, same thing. You just scroll down the page. You'll see the episodes over there. But ultimately, this was a great episode last week. We had some solid comments and feedback that came in. And ultimately had a lot of external feedback after the episode was over. A lot of positive stuff. So, guys, I definitely encourage you to check that episode out if you have not. Even if you're a woman, check it out. Us men and women, we have to come together. Women obviously have a lot of strength themselves, and there's a lot of importance for that. So, like I said, in like a few weeks, we're gonna have a women's episode. So it's gonna be a female panel, and me and Rich will probably moderate that one for that episode. But it's just gonna be mainly women. They're gonna talk about their experiences in the household as well, like through families, through mission and purpose, overall well-being. They'll talk about their roles as well. So excited for that. But let me not waste any more of your time with all this talk, and let's hop into it. So, guys, the first thing I actually want to talk to you about are the 2024 tax brackets. I'm from the federal side of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of share my screen. These tax brackets are always changing every single year, so it's kind of good to know. And in 2025, there's tax brackets too, and if I have some time, I'll go through that as well. But the 2024 filing brackets, let me share right now. Share my screen here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's walk through this real quick. I want to kind of zoom in here. All right. So, 2024 tax brackets, and it kind of brings you right here. This website is called TaxStripe, but this is something that I've compared with other websites as well, other information, relatively consistent, so there's not any false or misrepresentation or misinformation here. So this is the pyramid right here, right? We see the tax brackets. So you guys are gonna kind of have some knowledge of this depending on where you are, and you're gonna see, anything that's under 11,600 or 23,200 for the married side, you're within the 10% side. You go up to 12%, 22%. I'm gonna figure a lot of people are either in, or probably the majority of people are in the 22% bracket. I'm going to be honest. 22% is anything over $47,000, and it goes all the way up to $100,000. So the majority of people are probably in that 47,000 bracket, so the 22%, or you're probably in the 12%, which goes up to 47,000. So actually, let me correct myself there. Probably anywhere from 12 to 22%. The majority of people are getting taxed. It's the median income is. I don't want to quote myself on that because I actually do not have the exact number, but it's something like, I think, 40-something thousand, I believe, is the median income. So here where we look at it is, somewhere from 12 to 22% is where you are likely being taxed. Now, if you make six figures as a single individual, as a couple, you're making over $200,000 a year as a household income, you're being taxed in the 24%. So anything that goes outside the blue there that gets to the green, that is when you're kind of, I think a lot of people these days just think everybody makes six figures, which is absolutely actually not true at all. $100,000 doesn't go as far as it did about 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. But the average person does not make six figures. So if you're in the 24% tax bracket, you're probably making above average income. And that goes all the way up to $191,000. A single individual, $383,000 for the married couple, which is so you got a lot of leadway there. You have nearly $100,000 of leadway. So if you're making in that range, you're probably doing all right for yourself, as long as you're not overinflating your lifestyle, anything like that. You're probably doing fantastic. It depends on your debts and everything like that. 32% goes to the next bracket. So if you're single and you're making over $191,000, anywhere from $191,000 to about $244,000, or as a married couple, you're making anywhere from $383,000 all the way up to about $487,000. You're in the 35% tax bracket. People are probably like, that's a steep tax bracket. But the more you make, you're going to notice the higher the tax bracket. And as I said, a lot of these tax brackets are not, these taxes are not advantageous to W-2 employees. They're just not. With business and investors, there's loopholes. There's different types of things you can go around. Not go around, but there's just different types of loopholes. So the average business and investor, much more advantageous. And then you get to the top of the tax bracket, anything over $609,000, $350, or as a married couple, $731,000. You're in the 37% tax bracket. Now, this is probably, people who are in this range are probably either high-paid lawyers, CEOs or executives of companies, doctors, business owners. If you're in a 37% tax bracket as a single individual making $609,000, you're doing pretty well for yourself in life. to put it very mildly. But that is the tax bracket. For that, you're at 37%. So that is the pyramid, guys. That is the 2024 tax bracket pyramid. So if you didn't have that information, now you have it. 2025, I would say, I have not actually looked at the 2025 tax brackets, but if I had to look, I'd probably say the numbers are a little bit different because every year, majority of the time, these numbers change. And they don't change like extreme. They change slightly usually. So if you need to see for 2025, take a look and you'll be able to kind of see from that. But as I said, 37% is the high end and the low end is 10%. Like I said, majority of you are going to fall somewhere between 12 to 22%. It's probably where you're getting taxed realistically because, as I said, the median income is about $40-something thousand. So, everybody thinks everybody makes six figures today, but it's just not true. So if you're in anywhere above six figures, as a single individual, 200,000. As a married couple, you're in the 24%. So the blue is the pretty standard. And I think there's a reason why both of those are dark blue because it's probably the average, somewhere between 12 to 22%. All right, guys. So that is tax brackets. If you want to chime into this, just comment below. My mouse is acting real weird here. So let me stop that share. All right. Cool. So that is tax brackets. Let's walk through our way here. I was trying to pull up. There we go. So I have some notes from my guy, Bryce here. Like I said, Bryce is a certified licensed tax preparer. So Bryce is licensed in this. He knows a lot of different things when it comes to this. So let me open up here. So the one thing that we were actually talking about was inheritance tax. This is something that is not talked about a lot. So inheritance tax. This is actually, so from these notes when we were talking, it's currently one of the number one concerns, not just for high net worth individuals, just for people in general. I was actually just talking to Bryce, and we had a conversation about a friend of ours who's dealing with a tough situation. I won't name by name, but I'm just saying this happens to a lot of people, and it's not just him, who inherit a lot of liens or debts from somebody in their family that has passed away. So if they had certain types of liens, certain types of taxes that they owed, essentially they get passed down. If there's no type of insurance to protect the individuals, this can become a really big problem. This could be a serious thing. So when we come to this, when we come to inheriting things, as you guys probably know, because we've talked about this on the podcast before, things like student loans, a lot of times, they don't disappear. Student loans stay with the individual. So it's tough. These are tough things as well. But essentially, you want to make sure, I know this is insurance and not super tax related, you want to make sure that you have a life insurance policy. And the reason for that is it can help protect people against certain estate taxes, or certain things that were not fully addressed or in order before the person passed away. Because life happens, and let's be realistic here. Nobody ever just intends to die. Even if unless you have like cancer, you have something where you're kind of preparing for it. A lot of times death just comes. So it's very important to have a life insurance policy. If you don't have one, I would actually really recommend that you look into one that works for you and for your family. But even if it's just a couple bucks a month, or every few months, something to kind of protect. So life insurance, it can be used to pay estate taxes. This is a problem with someone we know they kind of got into. Ultimately, with life insurance, the death benefit can provide a tax-free source. So your death benefit through your life insurance policy can provide a tax-free source of funds to cover things like tax liability. And what it can do is it can also prevent loved ones from having to actually sell assets in order to pay certain costs, or without them if they had a nice inheritance put away, dipping into their inheritance. So that's something to understand. And you can also protect your inheritance from taxes by putting things into a trust. Which a trust, essentially what it does is it allows you to pass assets to beneficiaries after your death without actually having to go through probate, which is very, very important. Trusts and wills, trusts are very, very similar to wills, but trusts generally avoid probate requirements and the associated expenses that go along with those. Again, I just want to make the disclaimer that I am not a licensed tax preparer. Bryce, we talked about this on a phone call before we went live. So he's a licensed tax preparer, and neither of us are licensed attorneys as well. So anything legal out here is from either research or information that we've discussed, but it's research. It's based off of our own research. So we're not licensed attorneys in any way whatsoever. If there's anything that provides where you need legal counsel, I would advise you to seek a licensed attorney and legal counsel because they can answer you all your legal questions there. So. But this is the importance of insurance, guys. If you don't have insurance, it can really kind of screw. It can screw your family in many ways. And some of the stuff, like I didn't even know. As I've gotten older, I've kind of learned having discussions as I've learned more about taxes. Some of the things are crazy. It's just you can inherit. So you got to be careful out there. Insurance is very, very important. And another thing people don't talk about is disability insurance. Say for things like nursing homes. There's things where like nursing homes where I heard somebody recently had to put their parents in a nursing home, and if you don't have a disability insurance, they'll charge this is a random figure, but as $8,000 a week. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that the average person does not have $8,000 a week to spend to put someone in a long-term facility. Parents or loved ones who are older. The average person does not make $8,000 a week. I mean, let's be realistic here. This is where disability insurance comes in. Essentially, what it can do in long-term care insurance, they can both help pay for these things like nursing home care, but they differ in coverage, obviously, and certain benefits. You have to look and see what works for you, but very important. A lot of people don't think about when it comes to certain things there. So important, but yeah, it's tough, guys. You have to kind of understand these types of things. If you don't understand them, it can be really, really really difficult for a lot of people out there. But just having knowledge, like I said, we don't all like taxes, but having knowledge is very, very important. Like I said, I'm going to probably keep this very short, so maybe 30 to 35 minutes for this episode because I don't. So I'm just going through notes here. Let me pull up what else we talked about here too. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me as I walk through here and gather up everything because we took notes. So when it comes to filing, there's some tips too that we wanted to provide for you guys. Very important to talk about. Pull this down here. All right, cool. Pull this down. So here's some of the filing tips that we have here to kind of make so that way we make this short, sweet, and to the point when you're going to file your returns. Now, a lot of you may have already actually gotten there because it is 2 days till March. But if you haven't already filed, this actually could be very, very helpful for you guys. So these are some tips that we have for you guys here. So number one, obviously, this is the most obvious one, right? This isn't even, super tip. Gather up all your important and necessary tax paperwork and records that are needed for filing. So that way you can complete an accurate tax return. The less you have to go back and forth with this. And, say you take it to a licensed professional to do this, like a CPA or something. You don't want to have to continue having them call you to ask for different things, especially if like you drop your taxes off, or if you have to sit down with them, it can really, make things long. It can be a long process. So the quicker and easier it is going to be to able to file, the better it's going to be. And I would always advise them, and I do not take my own advice here sometimes. Some years I'm early, some years I'm not. Try to file early. I would not try to wait until like around the last deadline, because I have been there before where I've waited till like 3 days before. And if there's anything that's incorrect, luckily for me there wasn't that one year that I did do it a couple years ago. It could be a problem, right? If you have multiple sources of income, things can get messy. So don't wait till around tax day to file your taxes for your tax return. So like I said, gather that necessary paperwork. What I mean by this is W-2s, 1099s, 1098s, anything like that. 1095s for your health insurance, bank accounts, routing numbers, any type of other paperwork that's relevant to this. Make sure that you have all your documents gathered before you go to file your taxes. And I would actually advise, a lot of people don't want to do this. They want to do their taxes online, figure out. But I'm going to be honest, like from personal experience, this is just personal experience. Like I said, I'm not giving you any type of financial advice. A majority of the time, I think a CPA or a licensed professional is probably going to be able to get you the best tax return you can get. And a lot of times people owe or don't get anything back. But I'm just saying, I think a lot of the times for $100 or a little over $100, a lot of times if you take us to a CPA, they can usually do the best. And it also puts you at less risk for owing the IRS later. God forbid you fuck your taxes up. So this is personal experience. Everybody's going to do what they want to do. And hey, we all make our own choices, right? Number 2, I'm going through this. Report all your types of income on the tax returns to avoid receiving a notice or a bill from the IRS, which you don't want. Let's be realistic. You don't want the IRS coming for you. No bueno. It's not going to be good. So what I mean by this is goods that were created and sold on online platforms. A lot of people don't think about that. So anything you sold, say you have an account on eBay, you're selling things through Amazon, or you're online, anything like that. Make sure that you report all income, because you don't want the IRS coming for you. I'm telling you right now. Another one, investment income. So if you have a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, individual retirement account, if you have a brokerage account, if you have cryptocurrency that you're trading, whatever, do an app like Coinbase. Make sure, especially, I forget with the exact, let me actually pull this for you guys, because I want to make sure that I got the right. So let me see. I get this income. So I'm actually going to struggle to kind of find it. I don't want to report the wrong information for you guys, and I also do not want to hold the podcast up here. So what I was saying was, when it comes to that, is for investment income, do your homework, see what the report is. I'm actually going to have to do this myself because I'm actually about to file my taxes. So I have all my documents, but any type of money that I made on investments, still, whatever it is, I would still just report it. Have your paperwork. So anything on investment income, I would just report it. Just report it either way. Part-time or seasonal work, another thing you still have to look out for. Self-employment or business activity is important. any type of income that you're making, it doesn't matter if it's business activities, anything. You got to make sure that you have all that. And I'm going to be honest, if you're like a contracted employee, you want to be keeping a note of your taxes, because you know what? If you're a contractor and employee, 1099, you know what I mean? You have to keep money aside for taxes. That is very important. A lot. Like, you'd be surprised the people that actually don't do this. I've heard like these horror stories. People just are not putting their money aside for taxes. They're taking their money tax-free and they're spending that money, and guess what? When tax time comes, you're in trouble if you don't have that money. So definitely set money aside for taxes. Services paid through online mobile apps as well. Number 3, avoid paper returns. File electronically with a direct deposit is the fastest way to get your refund. So if you're looking to get that refund quicker rather than later, which, I mean, why wouldn't you be? I understand not everybody's hurting for money, but hey, quicker refund is better for you. Let's be realistic. It's money in your pockets. So, you filing that electronically with a direct deposit is going to get your refund quicker. Maybe for some people it's not possible. Whatever the case may be, everybody's situation is different. And I will say this: Plus tax software helps taxpayers avoid mistakes. Like I said, it does the math for them. You don't want any mistakes. So file electronically, get the direct deposit. Consider IRS free resources as well. There's things like IRS free file, direct file. You guys can look into these. Free file fillable forms, a lot of different resources out there. Check in with that. Number 5, choose your tax filing options based on personal situation, comfort level with tax preparation. So you can like I said, you can personally file your taxes. Just be aware, the more complicated your taxes are, and I would say if you don't have a lot of knowledge and the more complicated your taxes are, just be careful. If you mess up, you can wind up owing money to the IRS, and realistically, I don't want that for you. So, know your situation. If you have knowledge of how to do it, you've done it in the past, your taxes aren't super complicated, hey, go for it. You can, number 2, use online filing services. There's a lot of resources out there to do it online, like I said. Number 3, this is the route that I go personally. Hire a tax professional and choose carefully. So most tax return preparers are professional, honest, provide excellent service to their clients. However, be very careful who you pick. Make sure you a lot of times I feel like most of these people are based off referrals. Somebody used them and they were great. And other people maybe use other people and they're not so great. Just be aware, and I would look at reviews, especially if they have they have an office or something, or you can see them online. Try to look at reviews and see how they are. Dishonest tax preparers who file false income tax returns do exist. It is unfortunate in 2025. This is what we're dealing with, but there are people like this. So be very mindful, is what I will tell you. And you just want to do your homework. You know what I mean? Do your homework. The chat here. Marius commenting in. Marius, what's up, my brother? Thank you for tuning in, my G. Essentially, Marius is part of the Locked In Nation here. So, my guy. No, you can't tune in, man, but or pop on the screen, but I'm happy that you tuned in here. If you have money on a CD, it has to get reported. Yeah, absolutely. It's again, like I said, investment tools, anything like that you're making interest on, or anything that you're essentially making income, you have to report it. So if you put money into a CD for everybody out there is a certificate of deposit, and say you park $15,000, $20,000 in a CD, and say you make $1,000, $2,000, you have to report that income. It is taxable income, so you have to report it. Like I said, taxes are not super beneficial to the W-2 employee. They're very beneficial to investors. They're very beneficial to business owners. So if you are a W-2 employee, I understand taxes suck. Nobody wants to pay taxes, but realistically, we all do. So, and guys, I know this was a short episode, and I know we're only about 35 minutes in, but I think I'm going to wrap up over the next 5 minutes, only because I don't have my guy on here. But so we got the YouTube comments. Let me just check. Might not be anything on Facebook right now. I think timed out. Let's see what we got here. Facebook. Thanks for y'all who are currently watching. Yeah, true. So we got 2 watching here on Facebook. No comments on that page. Let me check the other page. All right. So we don't got any Facebook comments, but that's all good. If you guys are commenting, you like something, I got you up on the screen here. Comment down below. But like I said, this was a relatively short episode. I just wanted to get it out. I wanted to get the ball rolling with the tax stuff because this episode has just been postponed too many times. But my guy Bryce came through with the information tonight. We had a solid call earlier. Bryce has been on the podcast quite a few times. We've talked, investment, saving, different types of investment vehicles, all different types of stuff on here, financial freedom. But ultimately, I just wanted to kind of cover taxes. It's one thing that we've realistically never covered on this podcast. We've talked credit, we've talked investing, we've talked savings, we've talked all different types of stuff on here, but we never really got into taxes. And I just wanted to get that ball rolling tonight because this episode's been postponed too much. We'll have Bryce on in the future, and I hope to have my other buddy on here too. Again, licensed. These guys can kind of walk us through everything. We could talk depreciation when it comes to business, certain types of, like I said, certain types of vehicle weights. You can kind of depreciate if you're using it as a business vehicle. Next time, we'll dive more into inheritance tax. Again, I talked very briefly on it here tonight. We will talk disability insurance, life insurance, the importance of this, will and trust, and a lot of these other types of things here. Because when we got these guys on here, they're licensed in it. Again, none of us are legal counsel, so we can't provide you any type of legal advice. Like I said, if you have any legal issues when it comes to this, reach out to licensed attorneys. That is you have to seek legal counsel for those things. But this was a good episode here tonight. It was short, like I said. Again, I did not want to postpone this again. So, Bryce Simmons, my guy, thank you, brother, if you're watching this, for the information here tonight. It got the ball rolling in a good way. So hopefully in a month, we can get you on here. When your schedule kind of frees up, we'll get you on here, and we'll get my other buddy on here as well. And guess what? We'll cover this. We'll talk it and be able to kind of dive more in depth and probably have an hour plus long episode where we can answer all your questions on this. If you guys need any resources, you can message me and I can talk to Bryce or anything like that, or just drop the comments below if you're watching this on the rebroadcast. By rebroadcast, what I mean is, I know we say that a lot here. Rebroadcast is just if you're watching this post live stream. So if you're watching this post live stream on YouTube, on Facebook, if you're listening on Spotify, just get in contact with me personally, and I can kind of help you guys out. But if you're watching on Facebook, just comment. YouTube, same thing. I know on Spotify you can't. Facebook or YouTube, comment below, and I can help out. If you're on Facebook too, you can actually just put it right on the timeline. You could put a question, and I could answer it too. Or if you just want to do it privately, like I said, just message me. You can either text me if you have my cell, or you can message me through Facebook. But like I said, tax is very important. We don't like them, but when you have the knowledge and you can navigate, that's when you kind of start to understand a little bit more. And like I said, there's not really as many loopholes for W-2 employees, how to avoid a lot of things. But if you are a business owner or you are an investor, there's a lot of loopholes out there that you can kind of, if you have the correct knowledge, you can kind of understand how to circumvent certain things. So, guys, like I said, thank you so much for joining last week. Again, shout out to Rich Mitchell. We talked about men's leadership in families, so in the household. We talked about, mission and purpose, men's leadership, and then overall well-being. Like I said, in a month as well, I know we're talking a month on this one, but a month as well, it's probably going to be before this one. We're going to have a women's side to, leadership in life, because women are very important. They play a good role. There's dynamics, men and women, but we need each other. We need each other, realistically. So we'll talk, women's side of it too, their support, their nurturing side. Women help hold us men down a lot of times. So we will have a female panel for that one. Me and Rich will probably moderate that together. And I don't know why my live stream keeps doing that, but that's the second time that happened where I got kicked out of this. It knocked me off the stream. So I don't know what's going on here, but I'm about to wrap up anyway. But as I was saying, we got some solid episodes coming up, guys. Facebook and Instagram, I posted. If you're on Facebook, I posted the upcoming calendar so you can see this episode was on there and then 8 episodes after. My guy Dwayne's coming on soon, and we have some other solid episodes as well. So keep your eyes posted for that. We were going to talk Eagles post Super Bowl. Me and Rich just briefly discussed it last week, but the thing about it is it's just too far removed at this point. So we'll talk more about the Eagles as they get into training camp and everything like that. But we just didn't want to. We just didn't want to go over that because it's too far removed at this point. So keep your eyes open for the calendar. Again, you can check that on Facebook. You can see the next 3 episodes that are coming up after this one, and we will continue to update that calendar as we move forward. Guys, I don't want to hold you up anymore here. Any of y'all who watched, thank you. Mario, thank you for the comment, brother. Bryce, thank you for the information. And like I said, if you comment after this stream has ended, I'll still answer. I'll get back to you guys. That being said, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 204 with my boy Dwayne. Talk to you later.